Tonight on KGW News.
To see that it was literally right outside our house was unnerving.
Neighbors in Southeast Portland rattled to learn a rideshare driver and his passenger were shot on their street. Plus,
it would be very helpful to have some help from the city.
A developer fires back as the city gets ready to foreclose on a piece of Portland history that's turned into an eyesore. Then later, permission to come aboard as the big ships arrive on the waterfront for Fleet Week. And Beaverton's basketball star is now headed to Paris.
Literally, we were counting down the hours, like we went to bed like it was Christmas Eve.
How Cameron Brink's mom had to keep an Olympic-sized secret.
We demand clear rules and consequences that follow through for everyone.
First at 11, students at Gresham High demand action from school leaders and the district to keep their classmates safe. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. Those students testified in front of the school board tonight following reports that violence and bad behavior appear to be getting worse. Alma McCarty has our follow-up.
Although the end of the year fast approaches, some Gresham High students are committed to making changes in their school.
And the amount of school fights out there were this school year, and the amount of gun threats, the amount of knife threats, and the amount of threats in general was really scary to see.
I feel like our school has such a bad reputation, and currently it just feels deserved.
I don't want the freshmen of next year to go through what I went through my first year.
Elizabeth Westbrook co-founded the Gresham Student Union as a way to advocate for student voices.
It feels like we're really just brushing over the top of the real issues and being told that, we're going to be safer if we're in class on time and out of the hallways.
Last month, some educators here brought their safety concerns to the district, but since then, these students argue little has changed.
We have seen administration out and about more in the hallways, but I noticed that was only for about a week, and then it kind of fizzled out.
Plus, Elizabeth says a survey polling more than 100 students anonymously showed many still felt uneasy.
A few of these issues that we have identified that the teachers union identified as well was weapons being brought into the building, drug abuse.
That's why the student group went directly to the top with a list of concerns and demands.
We demand that leadership inform parents more on safety issues happening at Gresham High School. We demand leadership address the allegations about knife fights and guns being brought into the building and how we will handle future situations like this in a school-wide message. We demand clear rules and consequences that follow through for everyone.
In response to this most recent testimony, the district wrote in a statement, "Our school campuses should be learning environments where students feel safe, welcomed, and cared for." The students who attended tonight's board meeting bravely shared their perspectives. We encourage students, staff, and families at Gresham High School to continue to share their experiences as we collectively work together to address safety concerns. In Gresham, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Developing tonight, homicide detectives are searching for the shooter who killed a rideshare driver and sent a 17-year-old to the hospital. Around midnight, officers responded to 130th Place near Ramona in Southeast Portland. The rideshare driver died at the scene. The teenager who was a passenger in the vehicle suffered critical injuries. Neighbors say the shooter got away by jumping over fences and running through people's yards.
I've been here for over 20 years, and it used to be a laid-back neighborhood, and it's bad. We've had high-speed chases on this road. We've had gunshots. It's just gotten really bad.
And no word from authorities on any arrests. Anyone with information should call Portland Police. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, 2 Salem teens face animal abuse charges for their alleged involvement last month in the killing of a pet cat. A warning, some of the video here is disturbing. It shows a group of what appear to be 5 young people approaching the cat when one of them pulls out a gun. We will not show you those moments, but the video shows that person shooting the animal twice while others record with their phones. 2 17-year-old boys were arrested yesterday. Salem police are still looking for the other 3, including the one they say who pulled the trigger. The man charged with murdering 3 women around the Portland metro area is now in the Multnomah County Jail. Jesse Calhoun was transferred from the Snake River Correctional Center in Eastern Oregon to Portland this afternoon. The bodies of Joanna Speaks, Charity Perry, and Bridget Webster were all found in wooded or secluded areas around Portland between February and May of last year. Calhoun is charged with murder and abuse of a corpse in all 3 of the killings. And an alert for MAX riders to expect more disruptions on the Red Line later this month. TriMet is preparing to get its new next generation trains into service, and first it needs to test them on the tracks. It's going to happen from Sunday, June 16th through Friday, June 21st. TriMet says to expect nightly disruptions on the Red Line between the Gateway Transit Center and PDX. Shuttle buses will be available for nighttime riders. Well, it was a show-stopping day in the Northwest, nearly picture-perfect as American and Canadian military ships sailed up the Willamette and into the Rose City for Fleet Week. We're going to have a lot more on those a little bit later in the newscast, but first let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Matt Safino. So Matt, how is it looking for the rest of the Rose Festival?
Time lapse says it all, David. It was just a beautiful day today, and we've got a whole lot more of this on the way. Clear blue sky, warm temperatures warming up a bit, then cooling back down a bit. And nothing too hot, at least not for too long. A couple hours on Friday will get toasty, but nothing we can't handle. So clear, cool nights, sunny, warm days, and great parade weather. Now that, of course, is a reference to Saturday, but this is a reference through this week, through the weekend, and probably through the better part of next week. That's how long this warm, dry weather is going to last. So for the Grand Floral Parade on Saturday, which begins at 10 a.m., we're looking at sunshine, warm temperatures. Parade time temperatures start about 68. Climate is 73 as things are winding down. Not an issue with the wind. So really perfect parade weather here in the Rose City. It's going to be great all day long. So since we've got 90 degrees in the forecast, I thought we would look at 90s by the number. So far this year, we've had 2 90-degree days. That was back in May 10th, we hit 91, and then May 11th, we hit 90. 91 being the warmest temperature of the year so far. 80-degree days, though, we really haven't had that many. So far, just 6. And again, all of those happened last month, the last day of the month of May. And the average date for our first 90-degree day, well, since we already had a couple, we're way past that. We did about a month or so early. The average date for 90 is June 18th. So yes, if we do it again, it's a little bit earlier than normal, but hey, it's not going to last very long. So basically, David, the great weather continues.
Summer just a little bit early there. Thank you, Matt. Well, we have a bit of an update tonight on this Northeast Portland eyesore that you can see from I-84. Today, city leaders took the first step toward foreclosing on the old Gordon's fireplace shop. This is all because of a tax lien. The property owner there has unpaid fines totaling more than $20,000 for code enforcement violations. And the building, which has stood since 1918, has become a bit of a magnet for graffiti and trash. Developers had big plans to turn it into a mixed-use apartment complex, though now they blame rising construction costs for delays along with the city's permitting process.
I have been in constant email communication with somebody from the city of Portland since September of last year, every single month. It would be very helpful to have some help from the city instead of constantly being pushed in multiple directions.
Okay, that is Rob Brewster, who represents the project's developers. He says he was told the permit process would take 6 months, but it ended up taking 14. City workers say they are not to blame.
You'll find that while the city did its first review within 30 days, the applicant took 3 months to respond to those original issues. But it's simply not fair to say that all the delays were caused on the city's end.
Okay, so what now? The Gordon's Fireplace building is one of several the city is looking at foreclosing on for unpaid fines. Council could vote as soon as next Wednesday. Meanwhile, city workers and developers say the owners are working on finding financing to move forward with this project. Well, City Council also moved forward with a proposal that could make parking for Rose Quarter events a little bit more difficult. It would require parking permits in the Elliott neighborhood near the Moda Center October through May from 5 to 10 p.m. That essentially aligns with the NBA season. Without a permit, parking would be restricted to 2 hours. Elliott neighbors have long vented about the struggle to find parking on their own streets in front of their own homes during the Blazers season. On the coast tonight, concerns over dangerous shellfish toxins have now spread further north. The Washington State Department of Health has closed the entire Pacific coast of the Evergreen State to all recreational shellfish harvesting. They say the risk is especially high in Grays Harbor and Willapa Bay in the southwest part of the state. Willapa Bay is also, by the way, closed to all commercial shellfish harvesting. This is all because of unsafe levels of paralytic shellfish poison. That is the same biotoxin that's sickened at least 20 people in Oregon. So far, no illnesses have been reported in Washington. Portland Public Schools' new superintendent got a chance today to meet with some students and staff. That followed a school board vote to approve the hiring of Dr. Kimberly Armstrong. Armstrong worked for PBS previously and was most recently an administrator at Evergreen Public Schools in Vancouver. And as she takes the helm of Oregon's biggest school district, money, of course, a big concern. When Portland teachers held a strike for nearly a month in November, both the union and the district pointed to the need for more state funding.
We need to be able to make sure that the funds properly address our needs in the classroom.
In a statement, the teachers union says it is excited to work with Armstrong. She gets to work on July 1st. You're watching KGW News. Straight ahead at 11, Beaverton's Cameron Brink is headed for the Summer Olympics. Her reaction to a surprise from Team USA and how her family played a big part. Plus, the U.S. Olympic trials are just around the corner. How crews managed to turn a football stadium into a swimming pool. Welcome back. We're counting just over 50 days till the Paris Games, and now the pride of Beaverton will be headed for the City of Lights. A year after winning the World Cup in 3-on-3 basketball, Cameron Brink will represent Team USA at the Olympics. Catherine Cook is here, and Catherine, it might be a bit of an understatement to say Brink has already had an incredible year.
She's done it all, from endorsement deals to the WNBA draft, not to mention a college degree, and now the Olympics. Cameron Brink has worked hard for all of it, and maybe the best is yet to come.
Cameron Brink!
It's been a whirlwind spring for Beaverton's own Cameron Brink.
3 in the corner, yes sir!
From graduating Stanford to lacing up for the Los Angeles Sparks.
Can't play and think.
There she is. In between all of that, the 6'4" forward attended the USA 3-on-3 women's national team training camp. Last year, Brink and her teammates brought home the FIBA 3-on-3 World Cup. Then on Saturday, this happened.
Oh my God! I'm sorry.
Cameron Brink is now an Olympian. USA Basketball shared her reaction on social media.
It feels absolutely surreal. I was not expecting this whatsoever, but I've worked very hard for this. I love the coaches, the committee, everything, so I'm just beyond thankful.
We just can't believe how blessed we are. It's amazing.
We talked with Cameron's mom, Michelle Bainbrink, on her way to watch Cameron's game in LA. She learned the Olympics news a day before Cameron to help coordinate the surprise.
So we had to hold the secret for a day. And we were counting down the hours. Like, we went to bed like it was Christmas Eve. And then that day we're like, okay, 4 more hours. She's going to find out. We were counting it down. And my reaction was tears of joy, like hers.
I'm most excited to be an Olympian. It's been a dream my whole life. And, the opportunity to win a gold medal, especially with this group. I just honestly can't even put it to words.
Of late, we've grown accustomed to watching Cameron Brink's basketball dreams come true in real time.
The Los Angeles Sparks select Cameron Brink.
Back in April, she went second in the WNBA draft. Her mom was there that night. So was Stephen Curry's mom, Sonia Curry.
And my godmother, Sonia Curry, is over there. Hi, Godmama.
Michelle and Sonia were roommates at Virginia Tech, where they played basketball. That friendship will travel well to Paris, where Steph Curry will also play for Team USA.
We're both crying. We're like, can you imagine both of our kids will be in the Olympics? And crazy, it's Stefan's first Olympics because of multiple reasons.
With so much happening, Michelle says her advice to Cameron has been to stay focused on the main thing: basketball.
Stay healthy, eat well, rest, do all of the right things, and then everything else will come. And that's what she's been doing. So she's been listening.
And come August, the whole world will be watching.
Brink for 3. Her first triple as a pro. Training camp in
The whole world will be watching. Really good advice there, keeping Cameron Brink grounded through it all for Mom, right?
She's so fun to write about because everything she touches turns to gold, and it's that work ethic. It's not just, it just happens. She earns it.
That's putting in the hours, putting in the days, one step at a time, right?
Absolutely.
It's going to be a lot of hard work here, too.
Well, and for the Olympics, you can watch right here on KGW. Opening ceremonies are July 26th, and the 3-on-3 games start July 30th. We wish Cameron and all of Team USA luck. I know they're going to make us proud.
Yeah, I know they will. And you know what? It's going to be here before we know it. Thank you, Catherine. All right, let's take you to Indianapolis now, where Lucas Oil Stadium, that's the home of the Indianapolis Colts, has been turned into the world's biggest aquatic arena. Football, the pool. Okay, the pool will host the U.S. Olympic trials for swimming in about 10 days. And creating this in a football stadium was no small task. Guess what? Digging a big hole, not an option. So everything that you see here was actually built on top of the stadium floor. The swim deck is actually 10 feet above what would normally be the football field. The project took 2 months, and the stadium will be able to host more than 30,000 fans. Wow, talk about reinventing something. We're back right after this. Well, Matt, not to take the wind out of your proverbial sails here, but when do we get to say it's smooth sailing for 7 days, right?
You just said it. Yeah, I know. We can say it right now because we'll get several stretches like this over the course of a typical summer. This might be a touch early for it, but hey, we'll take it, especially when it's not going to get too hot, which is great. Let's start you out with that sunset again from our camera out at the Reserve Golf Course. Oh, some good golfing weather coming up. The area courses are in really great shape. We've had this nice combination of warm weather, then wet weather, and we got a whole lot of warm weather coming our way, so get your tee times in, right? 75 our high today in Portland. That's above average by just a few degrees. Medford made 90, though, and it was 82 in Roseburg, 78 Pendleton, 81 in the Dalles, and 60s mainly over on the Oregon coast. Up down to Brookings where they got really warm, which is often an indication that we are about to do the same. And we are. It's 64 degrees right now under a clear sky. We're headed towards the new moon, so there's really not much of a moon to speak of the next few days. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s all around town right now. And if you're thinking, okay, well, that's normal. It's not too unusual, but it is a lot warmer than it was at this time last night. We're running 7 degrees warmer here, a little bit cooler at Tillamook, interestingly enough. But most places are warmer compared to 24 hours ago. The cooling of the night taking over with the dry air and a lack of cloud cover in eastern Oregon, responsible for the cooler numbers there. Not much in the way of cloud cover. One little patch of high clouds moved over earlier. We had low clouds in Portland that came up the Columbia River right to about town, but those burned away quickly with a strong June sun. Big area of high pressure is just dominating the western U.S., all 11 states. The jet stream's going up into B.C., so it's not that far away from us, so we still have light southwesterly flow over us, as witnessed by those clouds we talked about there that moved across. But to our south, it's cooking. I mean, they're talking heat dome in California. There's an excessive heat warning up through Thursday at least for these areas, and through Friday for the more southern areas of the San Joaquin Valley and down through southeastern California, western Arizona, Vegas, and up into southern Utah around Lake Powell and over around St. George. So yeah, they are looking at 105, even 110 in Vegas, all because of this big area high pressure. But as I said, there's enough flow near us to keep us from getting too hot for too long. Friday will be the warmest day. We'll get close to 90. We may avoid it. We may end up at 89 or 88 even, but we'll go for 90. Still sunny, but cooler on Saturday and Sunday, and really through most of next week. Our odds of rain increase a bit towards next weekend, but that is by far from certain that we'll actually get rain at that point. Here's the near-term model here, and you can see the northerly winds here, really not much in the way of cloud cover and no precipitation to speak of coming to Oregon in the next several days. 64 degrees right now. Freezing level has jumped up above 14,000 feet. It'll be sunny on the coast. Lows will be in the 40s, highs will be in the upper 60s, so even a bit warmer than today. In the valleys, there we go. We're in the 80s tomorrow. Be near 90 on Friday. In the Cascades, sunny and very warm. 60s at Government Camp, 50s up at the ski areas. Central and Eastern Oregon, sunny and beautiful and in the 80s. In the Gorge, still a west wind. We're not going to go into a big east wind event. If we did, it would get hotter, but we're not, so it won't. How about 82 for tomorrow? And the clear, cool nights and sunny, warm days continue through this 7-day forecast. There's the 90 on Friday. We drop it back down to 84 on Saturday. Kind of the perfect day for a parade and for a Thorns game that night at Providence Park. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all look sunny with highs, Around 80, give or take a degree or two.
I mean, as far as Roast Festival and Fleet Week goes, it doesn't get any
So good.
better.
Nice to know that, Waterfront Park won't be all mud. It's going to be grass and good to go down there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Matt. Still to come, wheels down on the tarmac, why pilots say some brand new fighter jets for Portland's Air National Guard are long overdue. A brand new fighter jet is ready for duty at Portland's Air National Guard base. It is the first of 18 new planes that will help protect the West Coast. The F-15X touched down in Portland this afternoon after taking off from St. Louis, where it was built at the Boeing factory. Portland is the first Air National Guard base in the U.S. to take delivery of these aircraft, and they're meant to replace the current jets that were built back in the 80s.
It's got more power, better sensors, more weapons. It's awesome. We are all extremely excited to get the jets here. It's something that we've been working on for years and years and years. The whole team is hundreds and thousands of man hours. It feels like to finally have the jet here, it's awesome.
It's awesome. Tell us how you really feel, right? The new jets will arrive in stages over the next 4 years. The price tag for each set of wings, $80 to $90 million. Okay, Fleet Week is here with Coast Guard, Navy, and Royal Canadian Navy ships arriving this afternoon. Coast Guard cutter John McCormick, home port Ketchikan, Alaska, was first in the lineup. And even with all those bridge lifts and traffic disruptions, a lot of folks told us that is a small price to pay for a close-up look.
I'll be down here tomorrow to paint them, so I'm looking forward to that because you don't see it every day.
I think it's beautiful. It's fun to watch. It's fun to see the kids watch it and the community and the beautiful day.
Well, the whole weekend's going to be beautiful, right? Daily tours of the vessels, including the USS Montgomery, which has a bit of an unusual silhouette, start at 10 in the morning every day through Sunday. Remember to go early, bring your government ID, leave the backpacks at home, and wear closed-toed shoes. Yes, kids and teens got to take center stage during the Rose Festival Junior Parade this afternoon. It was essentially perfect weather in Northeast Portland, a bit of a breeze even as the dance teams and the marching bands made their way through the Hollywood district. This is the second of 3 festival parades. The main event is Saturday morning, of course, the Grand Floral Parade. Finally tonight, imagine looking out your window and seeing this. Yes, that is a black bear who decided to climb a tree outside a home in Salt Lake City. And no, this is not a setup for an episode of The Simpsons. Crews eventually tranquilized the bear, put him in a tube, then released him unharmed. Wildlife experts say the guy was most likely searching for water and lush vegetation, or maybe some picnic baskets. We'll leave you grinning and bearing on this Wednesday night. For all of us at KGW, I'm David Molko. Thanks for watching. Good night.